The map is the first thing. You must have a map. I am looking at one now. It is spread out above me from one end of the dark to the other. It is the only map that matters. The Cree call it Achakosuk, the star blanket. The white men call it by other names, the hunter, the bear, the little cart. I just call it the truth. It is the map that never rips. The ink never runs. The battery never dies. I am on the high ridge, the wind is sharp, and the air is so cold it feels like a different substance, a thin blue glass, 30 below. The snow squeaks under my moccasins. I am checking a trap, but I am orienting. I am finding my place. I look up. I find the North Star. I know from that one, still point where my cabin is. I know where the river bends. I know where the mountains rise to the east. I know exactly where I am. A man who can read this map is never lost. This is the first knowledge, the first thing that has been lost. You people have put your maps in little square boxes that talk to you. You have put your trust in a voice from a machine, but the machine breaks. The battery dies, and then you are blind. You are a child in the dark with no map to take you home. I have seen the new men. They come with their packs full of promises. They are carriers. They carry their fire in a metal tube. They carry their shelter in a nylon bag. They carry their food in sealed silver pouches. They carry their maps in a plastic box. They are like the turtle carrying a heavy, clumsy, fragile shell. And they are proud of it. They are proud of the weight. They are proud of the cost. They walk into the woods, but they do not enter the woods. They stay inside their shell. The woods, to them, are an obstacle, a danger, a green and white problem to be solved. The lost knowledge is that you do not need the shell. The lost knowledge is that the forest is not the problem. The forest is the solution. It is the storehouse. It is the pantry. It is the woodshed. It is the roof. It is all right there. But you have forgotten the language. You have forgotten how to ask. And when the shell breaks, and it always breaks, the carrier is left with nothing. He is an orphan, helpless. He has forgotten that he himself is the one tool that cannot be lost. If he knows how to use it, I am not a rich man. I do not have much, but I am free. I am free from the fear that haunts the modern man, the fear of losing. You are terrified of losing your lighter. You are terrified of losing your phone. You are terrified of losing your sleeping bag. Your life is built on a pile of things, and you are the servant to those things. The lost knowledge is that all those things are just imitations. The lighter is an imitation of friction. The tent is an imitation of a snowdrift or a deadfall. The packaged food is an imitation of the fat on a beaver or the protein in a grub. The knowledge is not rigid. It is not one thing. It is fluid. It is the understanding that the world is a system. A tent is a tent. It cannot be tinder. It cannot be food. A spruce tree, that is different. A spruce tree is a shelter. Its deep, dry boughs. It is tinder. Its dry, dead twigs. It is medicine. Its needles, boiled for tea. It is glue. It's sap. The lost knowledge is not how to use a tent. It is how to see a spruce tree. I was visited one fall by a man. He was not one of the soft ones from the city. This man was a wolf. His name was Alex. He had been a soldier in the far-off mountains of the world. He was hard. He was fit. He was smart. And he was a carrier. He came to learn, he said, but he came to teach. He laid out his gear on my cabin floor. It was all silent. It was not buckskin and iron. It was nylon. It was titanium. It was Kevlar. "Old man," he said, holding up a small metal thing, "this is a stove. It weighs 4 ounces. It can boil water in 2 minutes." I had my old black iron pot that weighed 10 pounds. "This," he said, holding up a jacket, "is my shell. It is Gore-Tex. It weighs nothing. It is waterproof, and it breathes. Your buckskin just gets heavy." He had a sleeping bag full of goose down that he said was rated to 40 below, and it packed down to the size of a water skin. My sleeping bag was a 10-pound wool blanket and a 30-pound buffalo robe. He looked at my gear. He was respectful, but his eyes said I was a relic. "The old ways are good," he said, "but the new ways are better, faster, lighter, more efficient." "Are they?" I said. "I can travel twice as far with half the energy." "And what happens," I asked, "when your stove runs out of gas?" He smiled. "I carry extra." "And when your shell rips?" "It's Kevlar laced. It won't rip." He did not understand. He thought the things were the system. "There is a cache," I said, "a long trap line by the Willow Creek, 50 miles north. I am leaving tomorrow. You can come. You can teach me." He smiled. He knew I was mocking him, and he was confident. "I will," he said. We left, he with his 30-pound pack full of technology, me with my 60-pound pack full of wool and iron and fat. He flew. He was on his light aluminum snowshoes. He was fast. I plodded on my big, wide wooden shoes. He was the future. I was the past. He was polite. He would wait for me on the ridge, his tiny stove already purring, a hot cup of something in his hand. I would arrive, and I would start my own fire with my flint and steel. "That takes a long time," he said. "It does," I said, "but I have the time." The second day we came to the river, the Sikta Sin, the frozen-over river. It was wide, a mile wide, and the ice was alive. It was groaning. It was blue. "We cross," I said. "The cabin is on the other side." "It looks thin," Alex said. He was looking at it, but I was listening to it. "It is not thin," I said. "It is moving. It is spring ice in the fall. It is freezing and breaking at the same time." We were pulling a small sled. It had all our gear, his pack, my pack, the food for a week. "We must go," I said. We started. The world was loud. The ice was cracking and booming like cannon fire. It was not safe, but it was the way. We were halfway across. The wind was howling, and then it happened. It was not the ice under us. It was the bank. A great, dead cottonwood tree, heavy with a year's worth of snow, had been waiting. The wind just pushed it. It fell. It did not fall on us. It fell in front of us. A crack that was not ice. It was wood. It hit the river ice, and the world broke. The ice shattered. A great, black, steaming wound opened up. The sled was gone. It slid, in a slow, horrible silence, into the black water. It did not sink. The current took it. It vanished under the far side of the ice. Gone. My buffalo robe, his down bag, his stove, my iron pot, his GPS, my food, his food, our guns, everything. Alex made a sound, a gasp. We were standing on the ice. The wind was ripping at us, and a wave of black water washed over the ice, our feet, our legs, soaked instantly. "To the shore," I said. My voice was calm. We ran, we scrambled, we fell, we crawled up the far bank. We were alive. We stood on the bank, soaking wet. The temperature was 20 below, the wind was 30 below, and the sun was going down. We had nothing. I had my knife on my belt, my axe on my belt. He had his knife, his belt. He looked at me. The confidence was gone. His system was at the bottom of the river. He looked small. "My," he stammered, "my pack, my gear." "It is gone," I said. We are wet," I said. "We are cold, and we are not dead. Now we work." Night 1. The fire in the tomb. Alex was paralyzing. He was trained for this, but his training was wrong. He was trained to assess his gear and use his kit. He had no kit. He was just staring. His hands were shaking. I hit him hard on the chest. "Stop dying," I growled, "and start living. We need a fire," he stammered. "No," I said. "Fire is second. Shelter is first. The wind is the killer." I grabbed his arm. "Look, see the world, not the gear." I pointed. A massive spruce blown over, a deadfall, a tangle of roots and earth as tall as a man. "That," I said, "is a wall." Behind it, the snow was deep. "We dig?" he asked. "We burrow," I said. I took my axe. He took his, and we attacked that snowdrift. Not a tent, a tomb. We dug into the snow, under the log. We made a cave. We were wet. We were freezing, but the work was warming us. "It's just a hole," he panted, his words thick. "It is a house," I said. After an hour, we had a cave, 2 feet high, 6 feet deep. Out of the wind, we crawled in. The wind vanished. "We're still wet," he said. "We'll freeze." "Yes," I said. "Now fire." I crawled out. He looked at me. "With what? My lighter? My matches?" I just looked at him. I pulled my knife. I went to a birch tree. I cut away the wet outer bark. I peeled the dry paper inner bark. I went to a dead standing pine. I cut away the wet outer wood. I found the heart, the fat wood, the resin. I went to a dead dry willow. I cut a branch. I cut a board. "What are you?" Alex said. He was shivering so hard his teeth were a rattle. "I am making fire," I said. I sat at the mouth of our cave. I took the lace from my moccasin. I made a bow. I made a spindle. I made a hearth board, the bow drill, the lost knowledge. Alex watched me. His eyes were wide. "I read about that," he whispered. "It's a trick." "It is work," I said, and I began. My hands were numb. My clothes were freezing to me. I pushed. I pulled. The bow sang. It was agony. My shoulders screamed. The sweat I was now making was not good sweat. It was fear sweat. Nothing. "It's not working," Alex cried. "It is not fast," I grunted. I pushed. I saw a wisp of smoke. "Alex," I said, "your hands, in your shirt. Warm them." He did. I pushed. The smoke was thicker, blacker. I stopped. In the notch of the hearth board, a coal, a tiny red glowing ember. It was everything. It was life. Alex gasped. "Do not breathe," I said. I tipped the coal into my tinder nest of birch bark. I held it. I protected it from the wind. I blew. Gently, a wisp. I blew again. A glow. And then a whoosh, a flame. Alex cried. He made a sound like a baby. I put the flame to the fat wood. The fat wood hissed. Fire! We had fire. We spent that night naked. We stripped off our frozen, wet clothes. We hung them by the fire. We huddled, 2 naked, shivering men, in a hole in the snow, under a log, next to a fire made from a stick. We were not warm. We were not comfortable. We were alive. Day 2. The hunger morning was pain. Everything was stiff. Our clothes were dry. Smoky, but dry. We put them on, and the hunger was a clawing thing. "We have to move," Alex said. "The cabin is 50 miles. We have to start." He was a man of action. "No," I said. He looked at me. "Old man, we will starve." "You are right," I said. "We will not walk far if we walk empty." "There is no food," he yelled. I stood up. "You are blind," I said. "You are still blind." I walked. I looked at the snow. The snow is a book. It tells you everything. I saw a track, a tiny 3-toed track, and a wing mark. Ptarmigan, the snowbird. "Here," I said. "You see it?" Alex said. "I read it," I said. I took my knife. I had a small coil of sinew rawhide wrapped around the sheath of my knife. It is always there. It is part of the knife. Alex watched me. I made a snare, a choker. I found where the bird had been walking, under a small willow. I set the snare. "Now we wait?" Alex asked. "No," I said. "We work." I went to a rotten log, a big one. I kicked it. It was soft. "What?" I took my axe. I split the log. Inside it was full, grubs, white, fat woodworms, frozen solid. "God," Alex whispered. He turned away. I picked one up. I put it in my mouth. It was cold. Then it thawed. It was fat, pure, oily, nutty fat. It was life. "This," I said, "is the lost knowledge. The animal knows. The bear eats these. The bird eats these." "This is food." I offered one to Alex. He looked at me. His face was pale. His stomach growled. He took it. He ate it. His eyes widened. He understood. We lived that day on bugs, and just before the sun went down, we heard a flurry. The snare. We had meat. We cooked that ptarmigan on a stick over a fire made from a stick. It was the best meal I have ever eaten. Night 2. The mind the second night was better. We had meat in our bellies. We had a system. We improved our shelter. We made it deeper. We wove spruce boughs for a bed. The cold was still 30 below, but we were alive. The snow began to fall. We sat by the fire. Alex was quiet. He was different. The arrogance was gone. He was just watching me. I took a piece of wood, the willow from the bow drill, and I began to carve. I was whittling a small bird like the one we ate. "Why?" Alex whispered. He had not spoken in an hour. "Why are you wasting energy?" I looked at him. "The hands must be busy," I said. "The mind must be quiet." This is the other lost knowledge. The Wutakow. "The what?" "The Cree know," I said. "It is the spirit of the long dark. It is the hunger madness, the cabin fever. It is the voice that tells you to give up, the voice that tells you to stop, to sleep in the snow, the voice that tells you that your friend looks like meat." Alex's eyes went wide. "The work," I said, carving. "The small work. It keeps the mind sane. It is a leash for the panic. We are not just surviving," I said. "We are waiting. We work. We eat. We wait. This is the law." He understood. He picked up a stick. He took his knife, and he began to carve. Day 3, the way home. The storm passed. We walked. It was 50 miles. It took us 3 days. We snared one more bird. We ate bugs. We dug snow caves every night. We made fire every night. And Alex changed. He stopped talking. He started watching. He saw me read Sastrugi, the wind drifts, for direction. He saw me taste the snow to find the river underneath. He saw the world change. It stopped being an enemy. It became the book. He was learning the language. When we finally saw the smoke from my cabin, he did not cheer. He just sat in the snow. He looked old. "You knew," he whispered. "I knew nothing," I said. I just knew how to ask the questions. He stayed with me for a week. He touched my gear. He felt the wool. He held the iron pot. "It's heavy," he said. "Yes," I said. "It holds the heat. It works." He looked at his knife, his titanium fancy thing. "It's light," he said. "It's not good for chopping. It doesn't spark on quartz." "No," I said, "it doesn't." "I was taught by the Cree," I told him. "They taught me that a man is not rich because of his gear. A man is rich if he can lose everything and still make a fire. They taught me that the forest is not wild. It is home. The only thing that is wild is a man who does not know his home." Alex nodded. He understood. The lost knowledge. It is not about fire. It is not about shelter. It is not about food. It is about freedom. You are all slaves. You are slaves to your lighters. You are slaves to your tents. You are slaves to your GPS. You are terrified of losing them. Your whole life is built on that fear. I am not afraid. If I lose my pack, I am still me. I still know how to ask the willow for fire. I still know how to ask the spruce for shelter. I still know how to ask the log for food. The lost knowledge is freedom. Freedom from fear. The modern man carries his comfort on his back. The wise man carries his survival in his mind. And when the pack is lost, you find out what you truly are.